And building on that, going into the next virtue, which would be fortitude, which is defined by the moral virtue that ensures firmness in difficulties and consistency in the pursuit of good. So the still, I saw one of your comments yesterday on social media. What wrestling refers to as a crossface, most people refer to as a right hook. But when these kids are on the mat, and what I've learned through the past few years is, in order to do the right thing, they may have to suffer a little bit, but they learn to stand firm in doing the right thing on the mat, right? So, for instance, I bring up the crossface because what are the coaches always telling kids? What's the defense for a crossface? Not to look away, but you have to look into it. And by looking into it, you're exerting more pressure and more pain on your face, but it's for the overall good. So things like that, I think, teach the fortitude and the firmness in doing the right thing in kids.
Absolutely. You know, it is the very literal example of face your fear, which everybody says that, but nobody really knows what it means. Why not have them do it on a daily basis? Look into the crossface. Everybody knows that. Speaking of which, that was a comment I made with Billy Durning, one of the best wrestling coaches on the planet Earth, man, and a very dear friend of mine.
Nothing but high accolades for him. Yeah,
that dude is top to bottom solid. But yes, face your fears, and there is no more profound literal example than looking into a crossface. It's the essence of what we're talking about.
And you guys were saying, you guys both had somebody say earlier, which I thought was very profound on this, which is get comfortable being uncomfortable. And there's nothing in life that I think is going to take you farther and let you accomplish more goals, no matter what that goal is, than if you just get comfortable being uncomfortable. Embrace that it's hard. And because, like you just got done saying, 90% of other people are going to spend their whole lives trying to get out of things that are hard, trying to make things easier, trying to make it less difficult. But if you're the guy who's like, no, man, because if it's harder, I'm going to learn more. If it's harder, I'm going to get better. I'm going to get sharper. I'm going to get, that guy's going to be head and shoulders above 90% of everybody else out there that's doing these things. You can learn that value system earlier. I mean, all the better.
Everything, when I say everything, I mean everything. Everything valuable in my life came right after a big hill of adversity. Everything. You'll never find your granddad on his deathbed going, I wish I'd have bought one more Lamborghini. He's never going to be talking about those things at all. The big step from childhood to adulthood is whenever you stop counting your possessions and you start counting your achievements and friends. And, a big part of life is collecting things that it hurts like hell to say goodbye to. The Lamborghini's not one of them.
Yeah.
It's
Absolutely.
Some people, everybody's best decision they will ever make, every human alive's best decision they will ever make is the decision to endure. When I look back, the best thing I ever did was to endure in a certain area. I won't get into the details of it, but I decided, okay, I'm not going to stop. I'm going to keep doing it. I'm going to give it one more chance. And that's adversity, man. That is adversity. That is, like I said, I've never met a kid that goes on a wrestling mat that loves wrestling from day one. I've never met him. It's scary. It's horrifying. The first time they lose and they get devastated, they're humiliated, they're embarrassed. Primally, they know it was a big deal. But man, once you get your hand raised, everything changes. Conversely, it's better than hitting a grand slam home run. That there is real world application. That getting your hand raised takes on a completely different meaning than your team. It's just very, very different. And you achieve that because you pursue, because you decide to endure. When you're doing just simply sprints afterwards, there's always a moment on every mat where it'd be easy if you just you're softy. The little bitch inside you comes with a very eloquent argument. If you slowed down, it'd feel better. If you slowed down just a little bit, it'd feel better. They're trying to pin you. If you just relaxed, your shoulders hit down and it'd all be over with. And that's when you say, you know what? I'm not going to negotiate. I've heard what you have to say. I understand the consequences, the pros and the cons. Now sit down, shut up. I have work to do. You give me that kid, he'll tackle anything on the planet Earth. Anything.